Hey guys, Dev here. So if you clicked on this video, you probably know this is something a little bit different. So last night in Raid, I off-tanked Gruul as a Prot Paladin with a two-hander in warrior gear using Seal of Blood and Seal of Command. And now I don't have a lot of experience with the whole seal twisting thing, so the gameplay wasn't spectacular, but the threat was actually really good from an off-tank perspective. I've heard a lot of people ask me, it's one of the biggest questions I get asked, how do I off-tank Gruul? As a Prot Paladin, I run in like 2 minutes, and my threat really falls off. And I think I found the solution. I'm not sure if this is going to be right for everybody. I'm not sure if this is going to come meta, but my god, it was a fun time last night. So the pull itself was relatively scuffed. The hunters seemed a bit confused over who was tanking. Our druid MT'd for the first time. Generally, I MT this. We didn't see any misdirections go out, so excuse the actual pull. I also had to stop DPS to let the druid tank get the threat back, as I did rip off him on the pull with a very nasty crit. But as you'll see, I had no problems chasing, catching back up into that second threat slot. And I think with a little bit more practice and a little bit more gear optimization, this could become something that's really cool, really fun. It is only a single talent point switch from your normal Sank build as well. So you can basically run this build all the time, and you can just get into it with a gear swap. So let's have a quick look at the kill, and at the end I'll go over the talents and the gear that I use for this one. Enjoy. It's pretty wacky and weird, but here we go. This was streamed live on Twitch, so if you want to see things like this going down live, links in the description. Come hit me with a follow. You'll see when I'm live. Okay, so pull timer going up, and I'm going to go in with Seal of Blood here. So we'd expect to see a couple of MDs going out. Hunters didn't MD on this one, so a little unfortunate. This pull does get relatively messy, so you'll have to excuse that. But so a crit on our first white swing for 1,146. Pulled off the druid tank there for a second. So a little risky on the pull going in this build, but too much threat is between the tanks is generally not too much of a concern. You can generally just let the other druid and the other tank pull off you. So as you can see right here, I don't even have my attack on. I'm literally just following the boss, waiting for the druid to get his threat. So he's comfortable now, and I'm quite a way down here. So I've got some chasing to do, but you'll see with this build, we can chase quite easy. Probably shouldn't have put wisdom up there. I don't think it was really time for that, especially being behind on threat. But hey, this is the first time I've ever played this build. So back in with Seal of Blood, and sitting at full mana on the pull here, I definitely could have dropped a Consecrate. There's no reason to not. Okay, so you see Seal of Command going up there. So now we can start our twisting. So that's judging, putting Seal of Command up, and then right before we swing, we switch to Seal of Blood. So when it's past this green marker, that's when it's safe to do the twist. This is a really cool weak aura from the Ret Pellies, so thank you for this. Okay, so I'm using a two-hander at this point still. So the whole point of that is to get hit harder. Obviously, the harder that I'm getting hit by the hurtfuls, the more mana I'm getting back, so that fixes the mana problems. And as you can see here, I've already climbed into second threat at this point. You know, our DPS is doing 1.3, 1.4. You know, not the biggest DPS, so this might not work in a full sweaty guild, but for your average run-of-the-mill guild, this is probably going to be fine. And in saying that as well, I'm not playing that well. I'm missing twists. I didn't use Consecrate as often as I could. Obviously, in this gear, super low spell power. So Cons isn't very good threat per mana. You'll see also here, I experienced my first ever Bloodlust whilst swinging a two-hander. And I wasn't quite ready for that. I also popped a haste pot over the top of it, and I started to struggle with the twists, so I kind of just committed to Seal of Blood. One thing you do want to do if you do attempt this is try and stay out of the cave-ins, because you're already getting hit for about 80% of your health from the hurtfuls, and you really don't want to... You don't want to be losing health because you are getting hit so hard. So in a second, I'm going to shield swap. So I've hit the point where I'm kind of at the limit of the damage I can take from the Hatefuls. So going to shield up in a second, and that's going to be switching to the Honor Hold defensive sword. Horde, you would use the axe from Thormar as a possible option. So I've got my shield on now, so it's going to reduce the damage that's coming in from those Hurtfuls. I do have a Fool's Bane. I didn't have my mace skill leveled. So I killed the priest here as well. Not excellent, but sorry, Elder. Fool's Bane would be a better weapon. It's a 2.6 speed weapon, and that would be much nicer to Seal Twist with. I think it would have still allowed me to twist in a command, being that slow. So that would have increased threat output as well there. And on top of that as well, I haven't used any runes here. So I think with that in mind, I could have actually used more conces early on. But we've had quite a few deaths in this encounter. This is one of our messiest Gruul kills in quite a few weeks. So the fight is starting to drag on a little bit here. But as you can tell, like, the threat is still fine. So range DPS can actually go all the way up to the main tank, Wispin here. So the closest person to me is Velian at 150k. So we've also lost our Shaman. So we've lost Wind Fury as well. So that's a threat loss as well. So if we had the Wind Fury up, that would also be even more threat. If you did start struggling for mana on this, like right now I have a mana potion up. Sorry, I can't move the mouse. I have a mana potion up. I've just used mana potion. I've still got a rune I could use. Actually, I've gone for the haste potion, actually. I've decided. Let's do some damage. Slower weapon, seal twisting, warrior gear, seal of blood tanking. This whole situation would be better if I just main tanked it and let the druid off tank. But sometimes, guys, I do like to do a little wacky different strats on the channel. So this was this. We'll jump into the gear once this boss goes down and take a look at it. Definitely some more room for improvement on next week's gameplay. So I think my plan this week, I'm going to do a day of heroics playing Ret so I can get more used to the seal twisting, a bit more comfortable with it. And we'll come to next week, give this another shot. So let's take a quick look at the gear set now. I'm going to jump into game. We'll take a look. All right, so this is the set that I decided to run with. So pretty unconventional, but we've gone the Doomplate Warhelm, enchanted for Ret with crit rating and strength. We've gone the crit metagem, attack power and hit on thing. We've also picked up 2 pieces of Doomplate for the extra hit rating. So some gear optimizations that I can do as well is I need to rethink my my hit rating. Not exactly sure. It was 6.72%. So with the boomkin that we have in our raid, we're actually 0.72% over hit cap. So could possibly do a little shuffle there. For the neck, we went with Amulet of Bitter Hatred. So this is basically a purely ret neck. Spaulders of Dementia. So here we're starting to get into the warrior tanking gear. So a lot of the off pieces you'll see me use are more geared towards warriors. The important thing to note about the Hurtful on the Gruul encounter is it cannot crit and it cannot crush. So the damage is extremely predictable, and that's kind of what lets this happen, like what makes this somewhat viable. It would not be possible to do this on a normal fight because you would not be crush or crit capped. So I'm sure there's a set I could design out there using the Fool's Bane, doing the one-handed Seal of Blood tanking, but I probably do not recommend this for any fight other than off-tanking Gruul, and even then, it's still really janky. You should probably just be main tanking it and have either the warrior or the druid chase you. But hypothetically, you're in a guild with 2 paladin tanks. Someone's got to chase. You're having a really tough time. You're going you might be a bit more casual guild. Your fights like drag out for ages. This is something that you could consider a different tool in your tool bag of something that might be fun, might be possible for you. I don't know how far it'll get you, but it's something worth checking out, that's for sure. So I'll quickly just finish wrapping up the gear. So we've got the Royal Cloak of Kings. We've gone with the breastplate of the bold. So all this warrior type gear is really good for this. The strength and the agi both lean really heavily into the DPS stats, which is where our threat comes from. Van Braces of Courage, we're not using a shield for the most part of these. We're just wearing these literally for the stamina. So ideally for the mana return, we don't want to dodge the hurtful. So I could wear Braces of the Green Fortress. They have dodge rating on them, but the idea is to actually get hit by these spells and just have the health pool. Gorehowl, that's our two-hander. We haven't made any blacksmithing weapon yet. Blacksmithing weapon might get you slightly further, especially if you're a human. The Libram, we're just using the DPS one. Again, because Crush doesn't exist, we don't need to use the Libram of Repentance, so we might as well have a little bit more crit damage. Gauntlets of Dissension, another piece, same as the shoulders. Basically, the shoulders, the belt, and the boots are all strength, agi, stamina. Just high armor, high stam pieces that we're using with both strength and agi on them for threat. Doomplate legs, we've already discussed. Eagle Crest war boots, yep, same deal again. The rings, we're just wearing high armor, high stam pieces, basically for both of these, because we do need the health pool to be able to survive. And then obviously the armor. So we did have a Ret Paladin in our group. So he ran Sanctity Aura, and that allowed us to use Devotion Aura, which is really nice. And then for the trinkets, we're just using Hourglass of the Unraveler and Goblin Rocket Launcher. So possibly an unused trinket would go down better here, especially with the wings on pull, once we know the Druid has threat. Hopefully we can fix our threat issue on the pool next week, because I really think there's some cool potential to be done with this build. I will work on my own Ret gameplay. It's something I'm not super comfortable with as of yet. I've spent basically my entire time tanking. You guys probably want to know about talents too. Let's cover the talents that I'm running really quickly. So this is the build I'm running now. So I've only taken 2 points in precision to hit cap. We're not taking shield spec in this build. A couple points in reckoning. This is just because I'm really enjoying running reckoning at the moment. But I will also probably throw up 2 different builds, how you can incorporate this into a deep prot and then the normal sanctuary build. I'll put them on the screen for you guys to see at the end of the video. And then over in the Ret tree, we've taken Benediction, we've taken Deflection, Improved Judgment, Conviction, Seal Command, Crusade, and Sanctity Aura. And now the bonus about having command as well in this build is I actually went on after this fight to tank mags, and we did really well. So if you're interested in knowing more about this build, I can do a follow-up of that one. So quickly, here's the other 2 builds that I'd run if I were advising you to go to play Deep Prot with command, so you can Seal Twist, and Sanctity Aura, a normal Sanctity Aura build, including command in it. So just a simple 1 talent point swap. So guys, let me know what you think of this in the comments. Let me know if you think it's stupid. It probably is, but I had a lot of fun doing it. Something different, keeping it fresh. As always, hit me with a subscription. It means a lot if you enjoy the content. And if you've got any questions, you want to talk about this, my Discord's in the description if you want to come and have a chat, have any other questions, or you can just throw comments down below. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one.